The fragile ceasefire between the US and Iran appears to be hanging by a thread. Fresh American strikes have rocked southern Iran, even as top Iranian negotiators sit across the table in Doha, in Qatar, for crucial peace talks aimed at ending the 3-month-long conflict. The US military, meanwhile, launched fresh strikes targeting Iranian missile positions and suspected naval mine-laying boats near the strategic port city of Bandar Abbas, a strategically critical location along the Strait of Hormuz. According to the US Central Command, or CENTCOM, the strikes were conducted in self-defense to protect American troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. CENTCOM's spokesperson Tim Hawkins said the US military continues to defend its forces while exercising restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. Iranian state media has confirmed multiple explosions near the Bandar Abbas airport after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, activated air defense systems to intercept what it described as hostile targets. Witnesses also reported explosions near Sirik and Jask along the Persian Gulf coastline. The latest strikes come at a sensitive moment, with Iran's top negotiators, including Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, holding talks in Qatar over a possible roadmap to end the war. According to reports, discussions are focused on Iran's enriched uranium stockpile, the Strait of Hormuz, and the possible release of frozen Iranian assets. Adding fresh uncertainty, US President Donald Trump issued a stern warning demanding Iran hand over its enriched uranium to the US for destruction or destroy it under international supervision. Trump wrote, and I quote here, "The enriched uranium, nuclear dust, will either be immediately turned over to the US to be brought home and destroyed, or preferably in conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran." As the war enters a critical phase, diplomacy and military action now appear to be moving side by side, with the entire region watching anxiously for what comes next. With tensions once again escalating around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important oil routes, global concerns are also mounting over energy security, regional stability, and whether the fragile ceasefire between Washington and Tehran can survive another round of strikes. We have Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, defense and geopolitical expert, now joining us. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on News 9. Will it happen this time around, or won't it happen? Because Trump has already alluded a few days ago about the fact that we're in the final stages of the deal, but all said and done, it will all hinge upon whether the conversations now can arrive at some kind of a consensus over the nuclear issue, isn't it?
Thank you very much. I think all is fair in love and war. And ultimately, as I see to it, that hopefully nothing wrong should go, because neither the Iranians want the war, neither the Americans want the war. But definitely both of them are jockeying for a position where it shouldn't be seen as having given in. And therefore, the American strike at this point of time was only to tell the Iranians that, well, we are aware of what you're doing, and in mining anything of that in the Bandar Abbas, we are not going to leave you. Probably the Iranians also at this point of time wanting to, be able to see that, because the very fact that the Iranians have lifted the internet blackout, now the internet is free in Iran, almost 97% of the damaged buildings have been repaired, indicative that Iranians are looking at peace returning. Otherwise, the 88th day, the Iranian internet blackout is indicative that surely things are not going, properly. And at this point of time, with Iran also looking for peace, the Americans also looking for peace, and as you rightly said, their foreign minister and Ghalibaf, both of them in Qatar, to hopefully to take forward the peace talk, do show some kind of positiveness. But an attack by the Americans at this time is also indicating to the Iranians that do not be seen as, if you try and mine that Strait of Hormuz, very southern part of Iran, and that you intend to sort of weaponize Strait of Hormuz, may not be acceptable to the Americans. As regards the uranium is concerned, I think there seems a little bit of a flexibility because the Americans again seem to think that, well, the destruction of uranium at a site which could be common to both of them under the supervision acceptable to both of them may be acceptable, if not handing over of the enriched uranium to the Americans. So there is some lot of scope going on and a lot of things moving around. But I sincerely hope that the things don't go out of control, and I don't think they go out of control because even Rubio in Delhi has been saying again and again that almost 95% of the deal seems to be in place. If 95% of the deal seems to be in place, and if only 5% is going to ruin all the effort put in after, you can safely say, the 7th or the 8th of April, when nothing has happened, actually speaking. And again, this attack which has taken place, surely coming at a very, very crucial time, at a very sensitive time. But let's hope. I don't think that things will go out of control, and because no casualties have been reported, nothing of that kind has happened. But yes, destruction is bound to be there because there are some missile boats that have been hit. Some of them sites, those missile sites that have been hit with the view to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz is not allowed to be weaponized and not allowed to be mined by the Iranians. So all this is jockeying for getting into a position of strength. I sincerely hope nothing wrong does go, and the Americans wouldn't want to ruin the accord, which is likely to come, probably go through in the next about 24 hours or 48 hours. So that is what it is. Yeah.
Okay, but what do you make of the fresh escalation? How dangerous do you think that is? These new strikes by the U.S. Could they, make the fragile ceasefire go inside the sea?
Doubtful, because the IRGC themselves, from the kind of statements that are emanating from Iran, they don't seem to be clear as to what's happening. The Americans have said they've hit the southern part of Iran in Bandar Abbas. They are saying some explosions have taken place here and there. Is indicative that they don't seem, the Iranians are not very clear what has been hit specifically. The Americans, of course, know because they have the ones, the central command there have hit the targets, this thing, because something is amiss in the entire thing. And the Iranians also might be wanting to do it clandestinely so that they could also have a better bargaining at a point of time, because Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians seem to weaponize it. That there is no denying the fact that they, under whatever garb it may be, collection of, the entry fee or the exit fee, under whatever name the Iranians might want to give it to it, but the collection of toll or collection of money for the Strait of Hormuz, which the Iranians seem to feel is their right, for which they are getting in touch with Oman to see to it that the right can be exercised. I don't think Oman would give into their hands, though of course openly they're saying so, but they're all under the influence of the Americans. They wouldn't want to do that. So I don't think, my personal feeling is this will not go beyond this, and even the Americans will not let this get escalated so much so that all the effort put in for the last about, we can safely say, the 88th day today. And if all of it goes bad, then of course it's very, very serious crisis. And it won't go off in a small thing. If the Americans have to really attack Iran, they would do so in such a manner that it would really be very difficult for hereinafter. But that I don't think that situation has come. The Iranians are also playing it positively, and so are the Americans also wanting to pressurize Iran to strike a deal fast. And well, let's leave it at that, that there will not be an escalation to what the Americans have done to Iran at the southern port of the Strait of Hormuz near Bandar Abbas. Yeah.
All right, then tell us, at the way things look right now, if the ceasefire is not under threat because of these strikes, because, the fact of the matter is that all hinges upon how soon the Strait of Hormuz can be open and run, what kind of an agreement can be there. Do you expect an initial stage deal to be announced in the next 24, 48, 72 hours that will at least begin by, removing the US willing to let go of its naval blockade and the Strait of Hormuz being reopened? Do you expect that to happen in the next 24, 48, 72 hours?
100%. It has to happen because Strait of Hormuz has to open. And even if you see the kind of, the tankers passing through, the numbers seem to be increasing every day. If you see the last about 3-4 days, the numbers are over 32, we were going as high as 35, indicative of what it was nil to a large extent to going up to 32, 35 tankers per every day. Of course, the real strength would be around 135 once the Strait of Hormuz is normalized. But notwithstanding that, even if 35 of these tankers are passing through all across the world, is indicative that peace will come back. And the Strait of Hormuz, something like you rightly said, in the next about 24 to 48 hours, there will be a deal. There will be no denying the fact, and the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. And probably even before Rubio touches the United States of America, we'll find that the deal has been struck. The Strait of Hormuz is open. The uranium is as where it is, with no change or whatsoever. But definitely, the Strait of Hormuz will be kept open with nobody paying toll as of now. It may be under a different garb, raising of the crude prices. That could happen, but the crude prices will drop after 48 hours. I have no doubt about that. Yeah.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking is that we've seen another CNG price hike here in the national capital. Petrol and diesel prices are well above the 100 rupee mark across the country. India is feeling the pinch on a daily basis over here. So, and clearly it's not just India, it's the entire world where the energy prices we cannot take this anymore. At one stage it was said that if the war goes on till June, it will have a ripple effect that could last well through to the end of the year or even probably the beginning of next year.
Surely, I think for us, it's I won't call it do or die, but it's a very, very crucial time for all of us in India because we have, artificially or whichever way, the government has paid so much from their treasury to ensure that the prices are stabilized, hoping that there would be peace and the Strait of Hormuz will return to normalcy and our reserves will be replenished. It hasn't happened. And that is the reason why we find that the oil companies are under tremendous amount of stress that we have to, there's no option. And going up to $100, even if it's about 100 rupees, it would still be okay. But, if things go like this, it might touch 110, 115. You never know how things can be going back. So it is very, very important for us that the Strait of Hormuz normalizes. And therefore, our reserves are also cut up. And then, of course, slowly and steadily, we can't expect the prices to go down suddenly because we've suffered a huge amount of losses just to ensure that the consumers in India are not put to hardship. And that this thing, but if this kind of a stress because of Strait of Hormuz happens and the reserves are continuously being used, there we would get into a little criticality. And to avoid that criticality, it's very essential that the Strait of Hormuz must not be weaponized. Strait of Hormuz normalcy must be restored so that the crude oil and the gas supply to India is restored and the prices are at least stabilized to wherever we are today rather than going up here and after.